Hey guys, Jonah here, back with a beer review, and this is part two of the Brew York from the Royston. So thanks very much, Andy. Once again, he did sell me the beers. It's not as though he gave them to me for free, but he usually gives me some sort of deal. He gave me a free beer this time, which was good. So thank you very much, dude. This was not the free beer. I paid for this with my own money. This is the Nightmare of Brew York for this year, well, for last year, I should say, 2024, and it's a Stroopwafel Imperial Milk Stout at 8.5. So it's not a version of the same beer that I had yesterday. Well, it kind of is. It's got different stuff. Thank God it's got no cherries in it. It's got cinnamon and caramel. And for anyone that's had Stroopwafels, they're incredibly sweet, so I'm wondering if this is going to be a sweet stout. It's an imperial, but it's 8.5, so it's not too ludicrous, which is good. Right, let me see what it says on to back. We have an easier to read spider diagram, very malty, quite sweet, and good solid mouthfeel, which is good. Oh, tells us what the malts are. That's good. It's got lager malt in, which is ridiculous, but fair enough. Crystal 150, real strong Crystal one. We got wheat, we got oats, Special B, Crystal 400, Jesus. Some chocolate malt, Carafa 3, and some black malt. My goodness. Some absolutely crazy stuff in there. As you can hear, unfortunately, my voice is still gone a bit Richard Burton. So I apologise for my dulcet tones, but that's what happens. I was talking to, well, I shouldn't really say, because I'm not supposed to say where I work and stuff, because I'm James Bond, you know. But my boss, I've changed bosses, which is weird. So the new boss, who I do know quite well, I spoke to today, and she couldn't understand. She's a bit mutton, and she couldn't understand what I was talking about. Maybe that says more about me than it does about her. But yeah, my voice went all croaky and nonsensy. And I met a lady who works for Western Cider today, and I was having a good old chat with her about Westerns down here. Where are they? Hereford way, I think, somewhere like that. They make Old Rosie, which is a fantastic cider, and they make the Old Western strong beer, strong cider. And yeah, it was really nice to chat to her. So yeah, if you're listening to this, God knows why you would be, because you're a cider person, not a beer person. But if you ever listen to this, yeah, thanks for speaking to me today. Yeah, I can't really say much more about that. I tell you these stories because something happened, and then I can't really go into detail because of my secret work identity. Yeah, I'll get in trouble if I say too much about where I work, so I won't. Anyway, here we go. Nice stout once again. Proper strong one this time. Nightmare of Brew York. There we go. That'll be good enough for a thumbnail. Getting a bit of a kind of cheesy kind of mascarpone kind of cheese, like yeah, or what's that sort of real creamy coffee type thing? Mascarpone, but with a coffee kind of in it. I can't remember what it's called. Creme brulee. That's it. Talking nonsense. Creme brulee, proper cheesy, stroke creamy, stroke coffee. Unfortunately, the head has kind of disappeared. It's turned into a ring, and there's some spots on there. Hopefully they're just bubbles and not pieces of kind of cheese or something. What is that one? There's something there. What is that? Why is that? That's really weird. There was something there. I thought it was like a bit of metal or something. That's weird. And it was floating on top. Weird. That's, yeah, I'm not happy about that. Gee. Huh? Uh, Still on my tongue. Don't know. Wow. That is unusual. Never have a bit of the can break off into my beer. I don't know what to make of that. Anyway, let's have a drink of this. Cheers and beers. The weekend is here. Just random stuff happens on my channel. Hmm. I wonder if there's any more bits underneath. Hmm. We'll find out. Okay, so it was quite a strong malty taste, no doubt, from in Crystal 400. My goodness, but it is sweet. So it's real darkness, but sweet darkness, which I guess is what imperial stouts should be about. Um, Lack of the head, but we do have some fantastic lacing, like a kind of weird Eastern dragon sailing across the top of my beer, which is always good in my book. This is weird because it's like it is sweet, but it's really, really dark and malty. Stroop waffles are more kind of doughy. They're not, unless you burn them in the waffle iron, and that's not a euphemism. You can cook waffles in a waffle iron, but they're not usually this dark. So interesting. What did it actually say? Just said Stroop waffle imperial milk stout. Well, it's definitely got that creaminess. It's got that caramel sort of thing going on. Stroop waffles have that caramel thing, um, but it's a bit too dark. That's a weird thing to say because it is a stout. It is a dark stout, but it's much darker than the sweetness would, and it's obviously lacto, so milk sugar sweetness. Um, but yeah, I would say it's not sweet enough to balance the bitter, dark craziness, oh, pardon me, of the ridiculous dark malts in here. I mean, you would do well with just chocolate or just black, i.e. patent, but Crystal 400, dude, nuts. Anyway, let's go in for some more. Oh, it's like, imagine the darkest roast coffee you can ever have, and then putting loads of some kind of sugar or sweetener or honey or whatever you put in your coffee. Caramel, maybe. Wow, it's like, what's that coffee stuff that isn't coffee? And you can get it, and people used to drink it in the war, back in the war, when they couldn't get ration of normal coffee. It's a sort of, it's a wood thing, chicory, is it? Um, and they kind of roast it up, and they used to make coffee out of it. But it kind of has that smoky kind of thing going on, chicory coffee, as opposed to normal coffee, proper coffee. So this is like the chicory version of imperial stout. So they put loads of that crystal in to get obviously the darkness, but to get that real toffee caramel, like burnt toffee, like cinder toffee. Um, but yeah, it's a bit full on. I get it. It's not the most astringent, it's not the most bitter stuff that I've ever had, but they tried to balance it. I'm not convinced it's 100% worked. I've had much stronger imperial stouts before that are still sweet. The Vocation one springs to mind. It was still sweet, but it was a lot stronger alcohol wise, and it wasn't as dark and just. And weirdly, they say the mouth feels quite strong. I don't know if it is. I'm thinking perhaps, mm, yeah, it's not as thick as perhaps it should be. How about that? So I think flavour wise, it's definitely full on, but thickness and actual mouthfeel and unctuousness, mm, it's not as strong as it could be. Okay, I've had imperial stouts that are thin and they're really strong alcohol wise, but they still taste thin. This one's kind of medium, I would say. Pardon me, dear viewer. It's quite well carbonated. It has been in the fridge, this one. I probably shouldn't have put it in the fridge, but I was getting a bit of the old tense can thing, and because of that, I always get afraid because I've had some exploders, well, or gushers, and that's usually not a bad thing. Um, but of late, it kind of freaked me out when I get a gusher, especially with a dark beer and it gushes everywhere. It gushes all over your trousers and the floor. You have to take precautions, dear viewer. And I throw things to the wind a lot of the time. So I wasn't prepared for a gusher this time. Dive in. Oh, and as we approach the bottom, look at that. The dragon, I said the Eastern Dragon, is still there, hanging in the sky. And then we've got another lovely line, and then another one, and there will be a last final line when I drink the final sip from this beer. Dear viewer, this is much, much better than the Fairy Tale of New York. This is a better beer. A little bit more expensive, but a whole lot stronger. The cherry thing that the other one traded in, they didn't have. Stroop waffle, 100%. I can definitely taste what they think they're going for. What else does it say? Oh yeah, the cinnamon. Maybe some of that bitterness is a spiciness. Maybe. I wonder. Let me see if I can. If I can. If it will allow. Come on, allow it. Allow it. There we go. What do we got on there? Oh, we got vanilla. Ah, vanilla and cinnamon, natural flavorings. So they're not the real thing. See if they added spice in its raw form. I think that would thicken up the beer as well because they've used a flavouring. See, I don't like it when people use flavourings, especially when they're natural. Oh, that word is just, oh, what do you mean? What do you actually mean? Because the fact that you're saying it's a flavouring means to me that it's not natural. Otherwise, you would just say vanilla and cinnamon. We could say extract, vanilla extract, and that might work. Yeah, I suppose some of that astringency perhaps could be spice, but yeah, I'm not. Yeah, maybe it's an addition, a collaboration. The vanilla, yes, because of that creme brulee thing. I'm definitely getting the vanilla. The cinnamon, not so much, unless it's mixed in with that bitterness. Stroopwafel, cinnamon stroopwafel. If I remember, the only stroopwafels I've had the chocolate ones, but I've also had just the normal ones, which are a caramelly type. You bite into it, and it's very gooey and doughy inside. And that's not what I'm getting from this. I'm not getting that kind of donutty kind of ugh, that that donut or doughy. Yes, it's the dough. It's not the donut. Although it does taste a bit nutty, this beer. It's the doughy, chewy kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm getting from this. A bit too light for that. That said, if you're into your really sweet, really dark stuff, this one might be one for you. And it's getting very good reviews on Untapped. I did have a quick look on there. The average, I think, at the moment, 3.99. And as I said, anything up near 4, they're doing pretty damn well. And that's, well, not, not as a high amount of reviews. This one's floating just under 2,000 reviews. But that's still enough to have a nice curve in there. You know, me and my nice curves, my normal distribution. This is very much an abnormal distribution, I think. Bit top heavy. I like a bit of top heavy action. Anyway, I better finish this off before I wax lyrical too much. This is getting long. I need to get up tomorrow. Oh, I was going to say, I might not do a review tomorrow. I'll probably drink some beers, but I'm off to see my mum, and it means tripping into London and then coming out the other side. So I'll probably stop at somewhere to have a beer on the way. Three hour plus journey, door to door. So I need a beer somewhere in there, but and on the way back, so more than 6 hours. About 6.5 hours travelling time tomorrow. But I love my mum, so I'm prepared to do that for her. Right, better finish this off and to bed for me. Cheers and beers, guys. I will see you. Oh, there is a little bit of gritty stuff at the bottom. You can see that right in the middle. That central bit down there in the middle of the bottom of the glass. Maybe that's the cinnamon that was missing. Anyway, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Why don't go out and try and find the nightmare of Brew York? And until then, dear viewer, drink some beer, because you never know, it could make you smarter.